Hey guys, welcome back to Film Wish. Today we'll talk about 5 things you didn't know about The Rock when he was young. Let's head into it. 5. His nickname as a kid was Dewey. Johnson had a totally different sort of nickname growing up before he was branded with the tough guy attitude and the powerful wrestling name of The Rock. In the early months of his life, he was with his godparents when his mother inquired as to whether his diaper was damp. No, his godmother answered emphatically. The actor recounted the incident during the Television Critics Association virtual conference in 2021, saying he's just a little Dewey. Despite the fact that he was too young to understand better at the time, the title remained. For years, whenever my parents came around in front of my girlfriends, friends, or anyone else, they'd automatically say, "Hey Dewey," he said. I don't think it's a really memorable moniker. Instantaneously, they were thinking, oh my god. Also, make sure to write your thoughts in the comment section. 4. He wanted to become a CIA agent. Johnson had his sights set on becoming a real-life crime fighter, and he'd hoped to do it whilst working for the Central Intelligence Agency. But a legal snag came in the way of his plans. On Instagram, Johnson said, "Dr. Paul Cromwell, my criminal justice professor and advisor, has convinced me that the best operative I could become for the agency is one who also has a law degree," according to an Instagram post from 2018. That provided him with a dose of realism. In his letter, he stated, "I thought that it was a fantastic idea until I realized that no respectable law school would ever admit me with my pile of steaming grades." It's the end of the story. He did, however, get a Bachelor of General Studies degree from the University of Miami, with concentrations in criminology and physiology. 3. He was on track to become a pro football player. After a high school teacher encouraged him to try football, he discovered that he had a natural talent on the field.
Thanks for giving me another chance. Hey, we all deserve a second chance. Why don't you play football for me?
Rapidly succeeding and obtaining a full football scholarship to the premier football institution in the country, the University of Miami, in his sophomore year. In an interview with GQ, the coach assured him that he had a decent chance of making it to the National Football League. "So that was the end of it in my thoughts. I've already purchased my ticket," he told the magazine. "I get goosebumps just thinking about it," says the author. "I'll make it, I'll make money, and my parents will be able to vacate their flat. This is the end." However, things did not exactly turn out that way. In the aftermath of his injuries, he recalls, "I struggled and became depressed." He was a member of the Calgary Stampeders, but he was released from the team just 2 months after joining it. 2. At his low point, he only had $7 in his wallet. After being released from the football team in 1995, he flew to Miami and dialed his father's phone number in Tampa to arrange for him to be picked up. While driving down Interstate 75, Johnson began to question how much money he actually had to his name. "I took my wallet out of my pocket and there was a 5, a 1 and some change. I recall thinking to myself, all I have is $7. At the time, I wished for so much more," he said to Esquire. He likened himself to Warren Sapp, who had beaten him out of his job in Miami some years earlier and was just selected by the New York Jets for $1 million. "It was as if the success I desired so desperately and for which I had worked so diligently for years was happening all around me to everyone else except me," he explained, "and that's something I'll never forget." The phrase $7 conveys a great deal of meaning. $7 Production was the name he gave to his production firm later on. 1. Both his dad and grandfather were wrestlers.
Peter Maivia.
My grandfather was one of the very first, if not the first, Samoan wrestler to become known on a worldwide basis.
His grandfather, High Chief Peter Maivia, who was born in American Samoa, launched a wrestling lineage that began in the 1960s, with Johnson being the first third-generation wrestler to compete in the WWE. Rocky Johnson, who was born in Nova Scotia and is known as Soulman, later received instruction from Maivia before marrying his daughter. In 1991, after Rocky's retirement from the wrestling business, he began training his son, and when the younger Johnson debuted in the WWE in 1996, his father could occasionally be seen leaping into the ring and protecting his son when he appeared to be in trouble, according to the New York Times. Johnson dedicated his Pioneer Award from the Hollywood Critics Association in 2021 to his father, saying, "As complicated as our relationship was, he was a real trailblazer because what trailblazers do is they change people's behavior." Johnson is the son of actor Don Johnson, and that is exactly what he did. And he did everything he could to ensure that everyone returned home safely. What do you think about The Rock? Did you know these facts? Let us know in the comment section. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure that you'll love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.